Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forums Knowledge Nexus Talks, a LinkedIn live event, episode 199 today. We are having a discussion on the topic of OT cybersecurity strategies to protect critical infrastructure in 2025. To have this topic discussed, we have the honor of having Ranjini Jose, Top Cyber Voice 2024, Sustainability Champion 2024, and Cybersecurity Champion 2024. Without further ado, let's welcome our esteemed speaker along with our co-host to the podcast event, Mr. Vijay. Hi Ranjini. Hi Vijay.
Very good evening.
Very good evening.
Hi, Vijay. Very good evening.
Hi, Rajani. Hi, Prem.
A small intro about yourself, Rajni.
Yeah, I hold a total of 18 plus years of experience from diverse domain that is embedded, BFSI, and Salesforce Cloud to AWS Cloud Security. Now I'm into OT security.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's start our discussion today.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of things that we talk about OTs on cybersecurity that you encounter in your career. What could be some of the misconceptions that are there or on OT security, Ranjini?
Okay. So one biggest misconception is that they mix with IT security and OT. So that is a one biggest thing that they do. OT security itself is different, and IT security itself is different. So there is a convergence. I'll
Mhm.
come or deep dive talk I'll do later. But however, there is a lot of mix of security things that they do. The very first thing is they have to come up with these challenges or identification of network, bifurcation of the network, all that from the OT perspective. And as we all know that IT perspective, there is IT solutions, SIM solutions, SOC solutions, and all that. So based on the infrastructure, based on the assets that we are using, based on the firewalls, protocols, and all that, mix and match of the things that's how we have to derive the security for OT and IT, and that's how the convergence also that gets happen. So that is one thing, the main thing that they mix with, or people are lenient about the OT security.
It's little different question here. We start about you. You started with they are getting mixed, right? So a small differentiator could help the audience in saying that what is OT cybersecurity and what is IT cybersecurity. Something, some
For
relation there. We can give an example. Something.
Got it. For OT, when you say there are a lot of physical assets, physical devices like sensors, actuators, SCADA systems, ICS, a lot of these kind of things are there in the machineries, utilities, big infrastructures like water plant, oil and gas, petroleum plant, all that stuff that come into OT security, OT cyber security. And with IT, we all know that data plays an prominent role, data security plays a prominent role in the IT, and involves GDPR, HIPAA. If I come talk on the framework side, GDPR, HIPAA, and all that stuff. Whereas in OT we have NIST, where we have also NIST, and then ISA 62443 frameworks for all these critical infrastructures. So that's how it differentiates. And with the safety also, where here there is a physical damage is given the importance, whereas here the financial loss of data, leakage of data, and servers and all that stuff we give to the IT cyber security. That's how it
Yes.
gets differentiate with respect to the frameworks or a compliance and access. When I talk about access control, there is a role based, where we for data access controls and all that we talk, whereas there it is strict access controls for user based, role based, RBAC plays in role, and all that stuff.
I think what you're saying is, or to correct me if I'm wrong there, you're saying when it is coming to IT security, it is more of data, the software side and stuff. And
Correct.
when it comes to OT, it is more related to the hardware like sensors, devices.
ICS, controlling systems, SCADA systems, and all
Okay,
that stuff.
okay, okay. Got it.
Medical equipments, when it comes to healthcare, OT and IoT devices.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, Ranjani. So if I talk about any incident, can you share a real world example where an OT cyber incident was successfully prevented and what we can learn from it?
Got it. So one such incident that there are a lot again, and one such incident that is coming to my mind is Triton, where it has happened for manufacturing industry, as we all know, in 2017, which was targeted for safety systems in petrochemical plant, and the goal was to manipulate the safety systems and harm the physical devices and shut downing the processes and all that stuff. So they took an access, basically they took the access and then they controlled the systems, safety security systems they controlled. So that's how things happened there, but luckily it was handled there in between, and this cause didn't happen at that moment because of the high security or human safety and plant operations. The virus or a malware failed to happen this incident. Triton.
Okay. So you are saying what are the key differences between? I asked that question in the start. Now, why I am asking the question of differences again is why
Mhm.
do they matter in much in critical infrastructure when you talk about IT and OT cybersecurity?
Because there are a lot in many big industries are involved where lot of human beings or lot of people are working around it, so human safety is very much important here. Whereas the human safety is taken at most in the important side of it. That's where the uh, major critical infrastructure systems gives importance to this side of area.
Okay. So you are saying the difference is when you talk about OT and IT.
Huh?
IT predominantly is to the
Data loss or something like that.
yeah, data loss is what you're talking about. Here it can be loss of anything in other than pointers where the data center can be outside the building also, whereas the OT security
Correct.
sensors and other stuff are predominantly taking a place here.
Correct.
And the human factor plays a greater role here when while having the safety
Correct.
and
Yes.
precautions. That is where you look at OT security to be very crucial in
Correct.
industry side or manufacturing side, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
See, securing OT systems, if I talk about the efficiency of operations, so how can a business strike a balance between securing OT systems and maintaining operational efficiency?
Maintaining operational efficiency. One thing we need to implement for all. Can you put the question once again?
How can a business strike a balance between securing OT systems and maintaining operational efficiency?
See, for all that, first thing that we need to give proper training, network segmentation, assets identification, all on a training awareness, cybersecurity awareness, training to the all the employees or whoever is in the on spot working at the industries. All these plays a very important role, then which will not affect. We have to derive the business continuity plan, strategy plan, cyber security plan. All that stuff has to be in place so that business operations efficiency will be increased accordingly. If these are put in place.
Okay.
No, you are saying that you will have to put processes and policies based on
Correct.
the OT segmentation that is done and the allocation that is done, and uh, there
which
would
in
be
turn will help which in turn will help the business efficiency,
yeah.
so that there is no effect on the infrastructure or the no halt at the infrastructure side.
Mhm.
Everyone is aware of the things, and mainly what I see here after coming to the this industries, not everyone knows about complete criticality of the either on the OT side or on the IT side. They are two different teams.
Hmm.
So these guys don't know the priorities or a criticality, what these guys are facing, and what is the criticality of the each system or devices, how it should be handled. So the cross knowledge is very much important when we talk about more on the convergence of the IT and OT side.
Point taken there. I think what you are saying again is that uh, there are two different teams when it comes to OT and IT security, right? And
Yes,
those two teams, cross killing is one thing, understanding the criticality of what is important for OT and what is important for IT is to be bridged between these two teams so that effective downtimes or the data. So OT is not looking at having a downtime, right? Whereas IT is not looking at to miss any log which is coming from the OT devices, right? So I think that is what you are saying when it becomes criticality. Am I right in saying that?
correct, correct, correct. So see here, there is a Purdue model where in
Mhm.
the layer there is a hardware, there is infrastructure, there's one by network protocols are playing in, okay, and then the IT systems comes in the stage 5 or 4. So
Hmm.
by the time the data flow is happening, at the same time the data is also important. At the same time, the infrastructure and the human safety and the safety of the systems, physical devices are also important. So both guys
Rajni,
need
I think your camera is getting blurred. Can
to.
you check that out, please?
Uh, I have not changed anything.
I think for Vijay, are you seeing the blurriness on?
Yeah, there is a blurriness from your end, Ranjani.
Can you switch off the camera and this one once? Off. Yeah. Again,
That
I
fine now?
think there is blurriness there. I'm
One
not sure.
second. Is it fine now?
Better, but not very clear. Okay, still fine. Okay. So coming to my next point is now we are talking about IT and OT, right?
Hmm.
What is one mistake you see organizations making repeatedly when it comes to specifically OT security?
Yeah. So one OT side again the uh, might be answers are same, but knowledge between the two teams are very much important, and the data confidentiality importance and OT priorities are different. Why? Because the impact is also different. So there is a lot of threats that are happening. How do I say? So these the basic mistakes everywhere it is same. Either it is a misconfigurations or low vulnerabilities or unpatching is not done properly. Then libraries are not up to date because systems are interconnected, and the securing systems are legacy, security systems are legacy still at the OT side,
Hmm.
which means they have not updated it.
Okay.
So all these put in place end to end, either at the end IT side also we need to give our vulnerabilities or our libraries, resolve all these things and track, monitor system should be up to date, everything. At the OT side, the security at the OT devices should be strengthened.
There's one question which has come from the audience. I'm bringing it up here. Satyanarayana says, medical equipment also come under OT technology.
Yes, IoT, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir,
health.
they come anything that is under a device side
Yes.
as getting monitored or it is getting data fed to the other systems of IT to capture data is under the OT technology, sir. Hope we have answered your question, sir. Coming to our next question, Vijay, over to you.
Yeah. If I talk about the critical infrastructure, in your view, Which emerging cybersecurity threats should critical infrastructure operators be most worried about in 2025?
So 2025, all these misconfiguration kind of things, access points, endpoints, networks, protocols, end to again, the system is not changing. The framework is not changing. It is remaining the same at 2025 also. But the pointers that we have to take back is how we have to strengthen each point at network side, OT side, devices side, asset side, bifurcating, and business continuity plan if there is any, and how do we handle the things if that happen, and the backing up of all the data, and are we using up to date updated libraries at the IT side. As I said, these everything parameters matters, because systems are not changing and our framework is not changing. It is really remaining the same, and protocols are not changing. There might be a OT protocols, there might be IT protocols. Again, what kind of encryption mechanisms are we using? The old. So there is latest encryption mechanisms which has resolved so many issues and all that stuff. So SHA and all that, there are many. So we should use the latest encryption mechanisms, placing MFA, placing all that little access back or back MFA, everything stuff in the thing, and which will accumulate all together with awareness to the employees.
Now, looking at the generation moving ahead with pointers like AI and machine learning, how do you think OT security strategies in the future would look?
For AI, again, AI is help. AI algorithms might help in the IT side. No, I'm not deep down in that area yet, so
Mhm.
yet to get into that space of the AI into OT.
Okay, so you
However,
are saying,
there are AI models are there,
Mhm.
and how will that help in the modeling? Might be in the securing the systems. We might use latest trends or technologies to find out, but how that can be implemented exactly, I'm not got that experience yet.
So you are saying on the devices side for OT security, you are still not having a clarity in
Yes,
how it is to come up. Whereas
yes,
IT, the data is getting mapped, tracked, looked at, analysis, giving a trends and status reports and stuff. AI is taking in terms of getting the data available onto the systems. But
correct. We can
OT
utilize.
side, how we are integrating it to the devices, to the sensors and other things is yet to be looked at a deeper level,
Deeper.
which I
Yes.
think is not clear at the moment, is what we are seeing. Okay.
Yes, yes, correct. And as I see now, most of the OT clients are still yet to move to completely to cloud. Right now,
Okay.
wherever I work for a railways, and they have moved into AWS cloud. But I see there are other. I had a talk with someone who is in a higher position. So he was telling still clients are yet to move to cloud. They're thinking to whether to move to not cloud. A is little far.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because of the legacy systems, as I said, they are following the old pattern and yet to move to the cloud.
Okay.
See, there are security measures which we need to take, right? If I consider a simple security measure, right? Can you describe a situation when a simple security measure made a significant impact in protecting critical infrastructure?
The one thing that live that I have done right now is implementing MFA and data security at my place. Implemented AWS encryption. AWS KMS is a service where AWS gives, and in data encrypting all the train monitoring data that is coming and sitting in AWS cloud. So I have used the AWS KMS service, which is sitting at the S3 bucket. I have encrypted and then generated a key KMS, and holder the key. Whoever has the key access, only those will be able to access the keys to monitor or to watch or to see the train tracking data. Before it was not there.
Hmm. Okay. Now,
Data was just coming and sitting. So
mhm.
there is no security to it. So encryption is one mechanism that I have implemented, and that's in place right now.
Okay. What are the top three priorities every leader should focus on when designing a OT cybersecurity strategy?
Okay, so the one thing is uh, protecting system availability and operational continuity. How do we do that? And second
Hmm.
is addressing the legacy systems and vulnerabilities, are that are getting solved, tracking, or we are going ahead with the same to the production. And building cybersecurity awareness culture and skilled workforce to take in, to have that awareness, so that the prop from the initial design phase itself we are analyzing or as assessing our assets and implementing proper network segmentation is done, proper intrusion systems, IDS and IPS systems are brought in place, and maintain robust backup and recovery plans is done. So the end to end is taken with utmost priority and a care, with everyone's awareness and the knowledge in each head.
See, you mentioned about creating the awareness, right, for the operations team. So, if I ask you, in your view, how can leaders foster a culture of cybersecurity awareness among OT and operations team?
One thing is simulating the scenarios and doing the cyber drills and doing workshops for employees, so that they have better knowledge and they are experiencing it, what could be the cause or what can happen, what is the consequence of it, right? So simulating those scenarios would help the leaders or within the employees teams, who are into the teams or who are non who are not in the team. So sometimes in the office, all this workshop, all these boys are running around, and what could cause, all with the security things that can mislead to the simple in the office workspace. Or we can also have along with that, when the new employee is getting hired, giving the trainings to the new employee, cybersecurity awareness trainings can also help.
No, your point is valid in terms of saying that there should be a continual education that has been done from the existing team when there is legacy systems also there. How do we look at bridging those gaps in terms of understanding what legacy systems can be? Maybe I will not say shut down, but to what level they can reduce the vulnerabilities. That is one thing. And the second thing that I understand what you're saying is you need to have a bridge between IT and OT to understand
Correct.
what can go wrong when you have legacy systems, whereas the IT will say legacy, whereas the OT would use the latest firmwares or anything that is coming, because all those devices are going to be new or to the current trend that they want to collect data in
Correct.
from.
If they have updated to the current trend, also the new hire employee should know the things,
Yeah. Okay.
because he might not ever from his previous experience.
Okay, so there is a requirement for every new device or an appliance
Human.
coming and adding to get added. The human resource should
Resource.
also be in a position to get trained and start understanding how it works, and that is a bigger challenge that we see today. What we are seeing in OT security. Am I right in saying that, Ranjini?
Correct. Correct. That's what I meant to.
Yeah. So now there are common challenges when you face when see you are trying to integrate something from a device to OT security with the legacy systems. How do we look at overcoming such integrations and plan it better? So you know that you have to have a latest system integrated to a legacy system. So,
Mm.
what are the things that you think should be taken care to make it, to an extent at least, get integrated?
Okay. So the one thing is updated protocols, updated encryption mechanisms, patching mechanisms, outdated libraries should get removed, and these are the main things that I see, because in my day in day out, they are using old libraries, and that could
Hmm.
lead to anything. So we have to do proper
Point.
patch.
Yeah, I want to make one point here where you are saying there is some legacy systems, but with which we'll have to live with it. We cannot discard them. But you are saying look at what can cause an issue and see if they are deprecated, they can be moved out, and
Yes.
see if what can be eliminated or minimized in the kind of risk that you are trying to look at. Am I
Correct,
right?
correct. At least all the critical, high, and medium should be resolved. Low can be kept.
Okay. Kept with a monitoring in terms of saying that when they
Correct.
can be deprecated. Okay. Got
Correct.
it. Got it. Got it. Vijay?
Yeah. Can you share a lessons learned from a challenging cybersecurity incident that shaped your approach today?
Okay. So the very first thing, as I said, my current experience when I joined this job, there was no security for the data that is getting rest in the cloud. It was just coming and sitting there. So how do we give data at rest security? No, that's where the AWS services, they are a lot have implemented AWS KMS, and AWS Security Hub is one such service which gives 360-degree angle view of the complete AWS architecture infrastructure. Okay.
Hmm.
And now we have I'm not in the site OT, so don't know what is it. I know that it's a train, and train tracked data is coming and sitting in terms of number of kilometers it has gone, at what time, and all that stuff. If there is any service required, all that stuff is coming and sitting there. Now even cloud can be hacked or not, that is also one big question. But again, how do we secure that which is sitting inside, which is our data,
Hmm.
right? So that's where the AWS Security Hub, which gives 360-degree view of the report with respect to infrastructure and with respect to APIs, firewalls, everything. And as I said, KMS, and as an encryption mechanism, I have implemented the AWS KMS for data that is at rest, holding a key with me, and then, or whoever is the IT director, he has it. So whenever there is a need of data, anyone has to access. Whoever has the access, they will access the data with a key.
One question here. You're talking about having data collected from your experience in terms of the railways that you support. That's the project that you're working, right? Or the current system. Okay. So that should be a bigger thing when it talks about railways in general, right? There will be a lot of sensors, there will be a lot of tracking that needs to be looked at various points. Now, how can smaller organization with limited budget protect their OT security effectively? Because we are talking about large segments.
Hmm.
Now, can
Hmm.
OT be also integrated into small organizations?
My answer remains same, because whether it is a big or small, again it is an infrastructure. Again, it is the same framework,
Hmm.
right? The framework is not changing. Again, it is the same Purdue model, whether it is a big or a small.
Okay.
All these parameters that we had a talk till now, from the awareness to the misconfigurations, from the libraries to network to firewalls, everything remains same. The same caution has to be given to the small,
So
the same question of.
you're saying whether you use it for small or large organizations, the framework size still remains the same. The number of devices adding may differ. Otherwise, the structure remains the same. The
Correct,
security that needs to be put remains the same. The
correct.
kind of vulnerability that you will have to look also remains the same based on new and legacy systems integration also remains. The challenges will remain the same.
Correct.
Protocols remain the same. So, okay, got it. Okay,
Got
Vijay.
So, if I talk about improving OT cyber security for critical infrastructure, what is the role that you identify that cross industry collaboration play in this?
Yeah, see, when it is cross industry, cross functional teams, it starts from cross functional teams, right? Within
Hmm.
inside first, insiders. So that cross functional it starts from there to big industries. Collaboration comes in between because end of the day, it is not one critical infrastructure, might be different infrastructure or interconnected. I've not got that cross industries experience still, but I can gauge and tell there are interconnected, right? So one can learn if something happens in the petrochemical, the water plant can get caution and then bring their in their systems respective measures that is required for security.
So the point that we drive again is that we see there are best cases that are there, and based on that best cases across industry, there are reference points that these devices can take and look
Correct.
at changes. And there are a lot of case studies that you say are predominantly because it is a framework. There are set of guidelines that are to be implemented, based on which you can have the implementation done,
Correct. There are
and
some sensors
according to
there, some actuators there, there are some SCADA
that.
systems there. But here there is a petrochemical, there is oil and gas.
So the measuring pointers remain the same, whereas the devices change, their way of functioning and the data that they send may change. Even the data that they send is more of this much of pilferage today when it comes to oil and this one. Whereas when you're talking about mechanical industry, you may say this is the number of amount of waste that is generated, and this is the number of pieces of raw material that has been created, right? That the kind of oil which is been pumped or
Produce. Yeah.
extracted oil produced today. Okay, so you are saying in such a way that the framework decides to look at what exactly is
Hmm.
to be gauged
Correct.
and sent for monitoring, but the framework still talks about gauging and managing most of the pointers in terms of representing data on the OT side to see how it is getting measured and tracked.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. How can businesses align their OT security goals with the broader ESG, environmental, social, and governance objectives?
Again, to get into the border of broader things, all this has to be put in place. That is where that is what I see as the broader picture. So when we see want the bigger picture to it, these minimal from the ground has to have that correction.
So you are again saying,
The same parameters again. These might be to get that sustained or have that bigger business perspectives. All this from the ground line has to have the corrections mitigated or properly followed with all these little minimal and security things has to be in place.
so again, I'll re-summarize in terms of what you're saying is environmental pointers has to be considered based on the location, the places, and stuff that is this industry is looked at. How the data gets transmitted is one thing. What are the social and economical side of that industry that produces this? And what are the governance frameworks that have to be looked at is what we should look at,
Correct.
bringing up when you bring OT security to be aligned
Correct. And
accordingly. Am I right in saying that?
to that, there are very good framework ISA 62443. which is specifically for all these critical infrastructures, which is subdivided into 13 sub chapters, I can say. So there are all these, each which talks about secure SDLC and secure SDLC completely, how that should be implemented for each infrastructure requirement, security requirements, or a functional requirements. So they are divided. This is, it is system level requirements. No, device levels requirements are divided according to the standards. ISA 62443, 4-1 and 4-2 is for, cyber security requirements. For 2-2 and 2-3 are for system level requirements. So they have divided. So we have to pick accordingly and then implement. So right now I'm working for 4-1 and 4-2.
So it's a
Process.
process,
Yes.
right? You cannot implement all at
Yes.
one time, but you
Yes.
have to look at one framework with the compliance
Correct.
best
Correct.
practices that are listed under the
Correct. And again,
numbers that
these
you told ID.
frameworks depend changes according to the infrastructure also.
Okay, okay.
What is your advice to freshers and mid-level managers who are looking to build a career into OT cybersecurity?
Okay, so I have started my journey focusing on hands-on skills, starting from cloud and a few trainings on the uh, compliance side, as I said, 62443, NIST, CIS, and all that stuff. And since I had that little experience of embedded and AWS and Salesforce Cloud, which interested me to get into this area and explore more on the things. Again, the base cyber security knowledge is required. Since the world is moving towards cloud, so cloud is required. And definitely on the OT side, SCADA, PLC, all that different terminal jargons that we have at OT, ICS, how that this works, complete framework of it, that it's called Podio model. How does it work, and what kind of devices are there, and what kind of devices changes according to the infrastructure, or different domains of oil, gas, and petrochemical, all that we have, water, wastewater management, and all that stuff we have. So we have to bifurcate and then learn, and then take that, and then the again the base is same cyber security, cloud, and all that sub services. Now OT jargons we need to learn and then get into the base.
Now, we are talking on OT because, and you made a point at the start of the session where you said humans play a larger role when it comes to OT, cyber security
Hmm.
side, right? Now, what role does human error play in cyber risk, and how can organizations mitigate it? Because one error can change a lot of things in an
Correct, correct.
industry, right?
The very first thing.
How do you look at OT security, cyber
Hmm.
security risks addressed?
Weak passwords and access controls and misconfigurations to the OT systems. All these will lead to the loophole to access the environment.
One way is saying loopholes to have, if it is wrongly
Correct. Wrongly
configured,
configured, there
it
is a
can
loop. There is a
trigger.
loop to getting in entered inside the infrastructure. If there is no access, they can access can be grabbed.
Hmm. So your saying is put right
Measure.
measures in terms of MFA or
Yes.
SSO kind of
RBAC,
a model where
MFA,
you
role based.
MFA.
Again, it has to be removed once it is given. Once the person is
Okay,
out of
so
the team,
you
it has
can
to
look.
be removed. So those simple things are not taken out, or it is the least bother.
So okay, so to rephrase what you said right now is that you should look at role-based access as a predominant stuff. Second, we should look at how do we see the vulnerability where uh, an external person can take access and may destroy the system or cause harm to the system, which can be
Correct.
the downtime one. The other way is if there is a kind of uh, uh, threat that can blow up something which can harm humans is also one thing that we should look at. Human error can play to any scale and any size, right? So
Correct.
that's
And we
that's
need
what
to
you're saying.
review that.
Okay.
Review that and make that a
Yeah.
documentation whether that has been followed or not. Regular
Okay.
reviews
Got
are
it.
required for all this stuff.
How do you ensure empathy and a human centric approach when designing OT cybersecurity policies?
Again, there is a human involvement here. So it is everyone's responsibility. We should think it is everyone's responsibility. That's how it has to be taken care with empathy, and uh, everyone should feel that it's own our own responsibility to hold each from infrastructure to cloud, right? Only then there is a lot of good collaboration that happens between the teams, between the individuals. So that gets into the safer zone of mode, where we can track properly and the stuff we can have it.
So coming to the last question that we have for the session today is, if what are the top known and or underappreciated risks in IT and OT cybersecurity that leaders should address today? What are those unknowns or underappreciated risks? Any list or any pointer that you have?
Like, say, I didn't understand. Like, what should be the
Unknown
focus? What you mean?
based on what you see.
Focus
Sorry,
on what is the main focus
what?
that they should do is what you mean?
Yes, as
Huh.
leaders, what is that they should
Hmm.
look at when risks on in cybersecurity, OT
See, one thing
cybersecurity?
is cyber security strategy document and list of vulnerabilities, track the insider list has been maintained appropriately, and collaboration, whether the proper collaboration is there in between the IT, OT, and the third parties. These days there are other third parties also that is in place. So is that the data that
Hmm.
is going to the third party, or some help from the third parties are taken, whether that is in place, and business continuity plan strategies are in place,
Hmm.
and regular testing
Okay.
and simulations are done, proper awareness is done. So the terms, or the homework remains same.
Okay. So with this, Ranjini, it was nice talking to you. I think we have come to a closure of the questions that we had in mind for this uh, podcast. We would like to thank you and the audience for joining today. Please do follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope that you found this discussion valuable today. And our next podcast is a crucial podcast in the this one for Power of Knowing. We are going to have the 200th episode uh, hit tomorrow, which is going to be the topic around turnaround, saving, failing teams and projects at 6:30 p.m. IST. Looking forward to see you again. Good day. Ranjini, you have any pointers that you
Thank
want
you
to say
so
as last
Yeah,
word
thank you
before we
so
conclude?
much, Prem and Vijay, for having me here today. It was a nice learning for me
Sure.
too. So yeah, if anyone has a questions, they
Yeah.
can post me still on LinkedIn. I'll be able to
Yeah.
answer.
So I put your scroll this one down here, and you can reach Ranjini on the link which is scrolling down. And with this, we would like to conclude our session. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye for
Thank you,
Thank
now.
you.
Rajini. Thank you, everyone.